Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Takt Tech Bytes. I got Noah here with me. Noah, say hi.
Hey everybody, good to be back.
Yeah, we're excited. We taken a little break from recording. We've been heads down on building the next iteration of the product, the next version. We're really excited to share kind of the overall version with you. But today we're going to be giving you a little sneak peek into something we've been working on. It's kind of existed today. It's something we've piloted with our existing customers, but we really feel like we have something now. And so today we're here to talk about virtual kiosk. So Noah, why don't you tell us a little bit about what virtual kiosk is and why we built it?
Yeah, 100%. So one of the things that we do in Takt is measure performance, right? We always say you can't improve what you don't measure or that isn't easily seen. What we found though is that within the warehouse, beyond the actual on-gun functions that happen, there's probably about 30 to 50% of the warehouse floor that just doesn't scan, right? That could be because they're in some support function. It could be because they are in a team-based task, but there's productive work that helps the facility run effectively that never gets picked up inside of any system. And so obviously beyond sort of the fairness to the individual, and we're looking at a performance rating, it really holds you back from measuring, hey, do I have the right amount of staff? Do I have the right ratios? And ultimately, am I running an effective operation? And so really that's what the virtual kiosk is designed to do, is help you illuminate and light up those areas of productive but not quite visible work that happens day to day on the operational floor.
Yeah, so I know one of the things that we always get asked about is indirect labor. Can you give some examples around, what are some of the things of indirect labor that folks are tracking?
Yeah, it's funny. I feel like everyone has a slightly different definition of what is quote unquote indirect. To me, I think indirect is a value add activity that really isn't held to a standard or doesn't have a UPH or work credit expectation attributed to it. Most often, these are going to be things like ICQA, things like troubleshooting. It also includes things like lumping, material handling, I should say, or other sort of like feeder and supporting functions that keep your direct pickers, packers, preppers busy and in function throughout the day.
Awesome. Yeah, I think the other one that I often get asked about is like, when my machine breaks down or I'm out of work in front of me, how am I making sure that me as the employee is not penalized for that? We've always talked about how utilization is really a management metric, making sure that there's enough work in front of my team. And so making sure that folks are getting credit for downtime when they can't do work, I think was another big reason we wanted to, or big problem we wanted to solve as part of this. So I think with that, why don't we show it?
Yeah, let's see it.
All right. So this is a sneak preview of the new version of the product here. And so what I'm going to do is, and we'll come back to this in a little bit, but what I want to show you is how you get to the virtual kiosk. So when you want to create a check-in for somebody, you're going to head over to facilities, click your facility, and then basically click virtual kiosk. And that's going to take you to a view that looks like this. And so you can see here, I've already created a few of our check-ins here. And what I'll talk a little bit about here is how this is actually the basis for our team-based tasks. And so one of the things we're launching here in the next week or so is the ability to track team-based tasks where one employee is scanning or a machine is scanning, but there's a collection or a team of employees behind them that is actually helping them accomplish the work. And so virtual kiosk is sort of a foundational element to making that all work. And so we'll probably cover that in the next episode, but what I wanted to walk through here was the process of actually creating a check-in. And so what this is going to show me is all the folks that have check-ins for this day. You'll notice that they're grayed out here because they're not currently checked in. But let's say I wanted to go create a check-in for this day. I'd be able to go in here. I can easily search for the employee that I'm wanting to add. So I'll just look for, if I can type correctly, I'll look for an employee that I want to add here. I can add many employees all at once. So if I have a team of folks or if my entire department needs to be checked in at the beginning of the day, let's say I run the box running team or the unloading team that doesn't generate any scans, I can add them all here and get them checked in all at once so that it's not too much clicking around. Or if I have a save filter inside inside the product that allows me to go and view their performance, I can add them directly from there. So I don't need to manage multiple lists. From here, I'm going to go select the activity. So in this example, I love shopping at Costco. So this is one of our demo environments. So I'll pick Costco here. And why don't I do box running? And so box running, I have configured as a indirect process inside the facility. And so the next thing it's going to show me is it's going to look at the day, and it's actually going to intelligently say, okay, what shifts are running on that day? I run a day shift. And then you'll notice here, it's going to auto-populate the shift start time plus the allowable startup time. I can enter a custom time if I need to, but this is really going to help, beginning of the day, getting people into task, getting them into function as quick as possible, and getting started with your day. But one of the things that I was really passionate about when we were designing this product is we spent a lot of time with customers that had built their own solution for this, or were looking for a solution, or had other solutions in the past. And there was a couple problems that jumped out. One was, when my people are actually doing work, the two systems conflict. I have someone who's checked into a task, but has actually finished up that task and is working on something else, or they're constantly switching between tasks and running over to a time clock or some sort of physical device in the building to switch in and out was just adding a lot of overhead and frankly a lot of wasted time. And inside of Takt, we're focused on getting rid of as much of that as possible. So we have this auto close functionality. So if you assign an employee to say, hey, you're unloading this truck, but then when you go from unloading now that it's unloaded to staging and you're actually scanning now, Takt will auto close your check-in to track that indirect labor of unloading and actually start measuring that direct functionality with close on next check-in. But let's say I'm doing an ICQA task where I do some scanning every once in a while, but really I'm an indirect person who may generate some scans, but I want you to keep me in this function. And so that's really where next time card comes in. That's going to keep you in this function and fill your day where there's gaps in time that we can't account for with this check-in transaction, and really going to make sure that this employee the work that they're doing is showing up in the platform and they're getting credit for that aspect. So next, obviously, going to give me a summary of the check-ins I'm creating. I can confirm it here, and then I can click create check-in. But while that one is pending, you'll see it's in a pending state. So what Takt is going to do is it's actually going to go analyze that person's day, and then it's going to start to fill their time with synthetic check-in transactions, so that person's getting credit for that time. But for the sake of today, I'm going to head over here to someone I pre-created, and you're going to notice here that this has created all these time that this person's associated with the gap function is actually generated from their check-in. And so that person is working on that team, but that person's actually not the one scanning. But so we want to make sure they're getting credit for that time. And this is actually going to let them do that. And so without getting into a little bit, I'll give you a little sneak peek. Even though this person's checked in, they are getting individual credit for work being done on the team. And I can head over to the transactions here, and I'll actually see that this person is actually checked in to a function. I can actually see that right here. This is a team-based task. But I can scroll through, and you'll notice that it's interstitched with the task that this employee did with their individual as well. So Noah, that was a little bit of a sneak peek of what's coming up next. I guess anything else you want to add?
No, I appreciate you doing the demo. I think it's great to, like you said, see how easy it is. A big goal of ours, like you mentioned, is to save time. And so we certainly don't want to introduce something that's onerous or going to take people off task just to get people into function. On that same vein, I guess thinking about where we have room to go and some of the asks that we've heard from those few pilot customers, I think this is a great opportunity to introduce either physical tablets, kiosks, or as part of our on-device solution, introducing this in a way where I, as the associate, can kiosk myself into these functions. And so you mentioned, waiting for work or downtime, or maybe my battery, ran out of juice. Like I think there's a lot of opportunity for us to just take this to the next level and make it so easy to make sure that we're representing the truth of what's happening within the four walls. Yeah, I think it's a great starting point. It's great to see sort of the check-ins show up and people get that individual credit. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I think, like you said, we really wanted to make sure we were building a solid and easy to use sort of setup. But now we can even go beyond that, like you said, putting it on device directly on a scanner, or for folks that don't have scanners, putting it on a kiosk-like setup in a tablet. We're definitely heading that direction. But yeah, I'm really excited. This integrates with all of the existing tools that we have. And if you do want to integrate or build your own front end to it, it's all connected to our API, and it's something that customers can actually hook into as well to incorporate in their process. So we're really excited for where it's going, and we're rolling it out to customers now.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it sounds like you teased it. It seems like team-based tasks is maybe the next tech Bytes.
Team-based tasks has been a tricky one for sure, but yeah, I think we've probably spent the most amount of time doing the math on that one than probably anything else in the platform. So we're really excited to show that one off here soon.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thanks everyone. This has been another episode of Takt Bytes. I'm Alex. That's Noah. We'll see you next time.